What's up YouTube, PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 2 Team Builder for Fella Season 3 here on the channel. This week we are taking on Arke. I'm going to assume we're saying Arke, it's pronounced Arke, and the Grand Rapids Gyarados. She is currently 0-1 and suffered a very painful to watch 6-0 loss last week. And I'm sure, hopefully, that didn't. I'm hoping that didn't completely shake her confidence. But if it did, you know, we're gonna take advantage of it as best as we can, pick up the win. But I'm not taking her lightly because she has a really decent team. It consists of Mega Gardevoir, Rotom Wash, Dusknoir, Heatran, Smeargle, Avalugg, Alakazam, Klefki, Flygon, Meowstic Male, Gallade, and Moltres. So right off the bat, I'm looking at her team, and I'm honestly not keen about it. The Smeargle annoys me because Smeargle's a bitch, plain and simple. Smeargle's a bitch-made Pokemon. That's as simple as it gets. Smeargle's just dumb because it can learn anything, and it's really stupid, and I hate it. Her only form of hazard removal are Defog, Flygon, which I think personally weakens Flygon a bit. I think Moltres gets Defog as well, but that again is kind of redundant because why would you run Defog in a Mon that's 4 times weak to rocks? At that point, you're just kind of wasting that Mon because if the rocks come back up, then you have to bring it back in, and it's then almost dead. So it's really hard to do in that case. And then Rapid Spinning Avalugg, which Avalugg is complete garbage. Let's be honest, Avalugg is garbage. So that's kind of terrifying. When it comes to speed, the fastest thing she's got is the Alakazam, which, while I can't naturally outspeed it with anything on my team, I personally think it'll be a Focus Sash variant. And to be honest, I'm not really worried about it. I saw she brought a physical Alakazam week 1, and I chuckled a little bit. So, if a physical Alakazam comes again, I think we'll be fine. So, I'm not really too scared of this matchup, but I think my team matches up very nicely against hers. It's just a matter of implementing it properly so we can come out with a big win. I think we can definitely do it if we really try. I mean, we're 1-0 right now. We could have had a 5-0 win last week. We didn't. That's okay. 3-0 is still a solid win. It's always fun to win a match. I like winning. I like to win from time to time. So we're going to keep winning. So yeah. To take on Arke's team, we are starting our team off with Igneal, the Mega Charizard Y. I'm not going to make the mistake. If I see the scenario where I can get Charizard in for free, you're damn right I'm going to do so. Because then I can freely click moves like Fire Blast and Solar Beam and Earthquake and then Tailwind. We are running max special attack with a mild nature and max speed. Max speed allows us to speed tie with modest Mega Gardevoir, which I'm not too worried about because we can take a Hyper Voice really nicely. Psyshock, not so much, but you know, we'll work with that. Also, it allows us to speed tie with Adamant Flygon, and that's pretty cool. But it allows us to wall break a lot more effectively, which is why I'm running it in the way that I am. I want it to be a wall breaker. Fire Blast is going to tear through just about anything. Avalugg will disappear to a Fire Blast. Klefki will disappear to a Fire Blast. Both will just die immediately. Solar Beam is for that pesky Rotom Wash that would be a switch into us almost every single time. Rotom Wash is a bitch-made Pokemon, and I don't like it at all. So if we can hit that bitch with a Solar Beam if it wants to try to switch into us, that'd be great. As for the Earthquake, that's for the other switch-in that she has to us, being the Heatran. Heatran does not want to switch in to an Earthquake from a Mega Charizard Y. Even though we're not physically invested, it's still going to do a decent chunk of damage, which my opponent can't necessarily afford to take. So, needless to say, I'm fully on board with this strategy. I think having moves that hit the switch-ins is great, because the rest of the team, looking at the rest of the team, doesn't switch into Fire Blasts very nicely, doesn't switch into Solar Beams very nicely, as the Solar Beam is another way of hitting the Flygon. I debated running HP Ice, but Tailwind I determined would be more useful, because even if they are running Choice Scarfed variants of certain Mons, Tailwind goes up, we outspeed all Choice Scarf variants of anything. We will outspeed literally everything if we can get a Tailwind off, and then we can freely click Fire Blast, Solar Beam, Earthquake, whatever we want to, and tear through Arke's roster really, really nicely. So Mega Charizard Y has a lot of potential here, and it'll keep the sun up for us, which is really, really nice. Because I do want the sun for one of our later Pokemon, which I'll actually reveal now. I'm going to jump around. I'm not going to go in the order I have them sitting in. To pair beautifully with our Mega Charizard Y, we're going to pack in Shazam, our Heliolisk, making his fella debut, rocking the Choice Scarf Solar Power set, which is really, really cool. Now, I mean, if I can get a Tailwind off and die, then Shazam gets a free switch in with the Tailwind. That's even better. But Choice Scarf, Solar Power, we outspeed everything on my opponent's team. I made sure to outspeed Timid Max Speed base 100s. Meowstic, I personally feel, is not going to be scarfed in any fashion, just because of the fact that it is the Prankster variant. So I feel like if it is brought, the Prankster is going to be taken advantage of. As for the Alakazam, I did say that I potentially see this Focus Sash variant. And again, if it's a physical version, I'm not scared of it. So we can outspeed it and do lots of damage. My opponent has only one ground type, being the Flygon, so I debated running the HP Ice, but it was the only Ice weakness on my opponent's team, so I determined that running the Hyper Voice was just as good of an option, because it does 2-hit KO the Flygon. If it's a standard Flygon spread, I will 2-hit KO it, so we can easily take care of that. Other than that, we can basically just click Thunderbolt and run House on my opponent's team very, very easily. Nothing really stops a potential late-game sweep from Choice Scarf Shazam. Really nothing can slow that down, so I'm really looking forward to Heliolisk putting a lot of work in against Arke's team. Now, one weather down, another one to go, and we are bringing Ragnarok the Tyranitar, rocking the Assault Vest this week, running a fully physically offensive set, it would seem. Rocking the fully physically offensive Adamant set, 248 HP, 252 attack, and 8 into special defense. Now, I'm not running any speed EVs because there is a Klefki running around that could potentially... There's a Klefki and a Meowstic running around that could both potentially paralyze us, so I'm not worried too much about speed for this Tyranitar. I want it to be bulky and take hits. We can already take hits regularly on the physical side, and the cool thing is my opponent only has one fighting type, being the Gallade, which I'm not really all that worried about because it doesn't switch in nicely to our attacks, so we'd have to get a free switch, and then we have things on our team that can switch beautifully into a Gallade. Oh, do we switch beautifully into Gallade? Oh, we have two things that switch into Gallade, actually, which is kind of nice. But, Assault Vest is there. Adamant Nature, we're going to hit as hard as possible. We have the Iron Head for the Mega Gardevoir, so we can blow that thing off the face of the planet. We have the Crunch for the Dusknoir, Meowstic, and the Alakazam. Blow those things back. We have the Earthquake. Earthquake is going to hurt just about everything on the team. very, very nicely, especially the Heatran. Heatran will get blown off the face of the earth. And then we have the Rock Slide because of the Moltres, which will not appreciate a 4 times effective Rock Slide. Overall, this Mon really, really puts in a lot of work on my opponent's team. Tyranitar really puts in a lot of work. Ragnarok punches holes through things. Ragnarok doesn't have too many switch-ins. And being Assault Vest, it really takes on those switch-ins nicely. You know, Rotom Wash, we can take a Hydro Pump, we can hit that thing back really, really hard. Heatran, we can take a Fire move, we can take a Flash Cannon and hit that thing back. We can take any special attack from the Alakazam. We can take one Hyper Voice from Mega Gardevoir and KO it. You know, a lot of things can't really touch us too much. She has a lot of special attackers on her team, so I definitely think this Tyranitar can really, really take advantage of that and truly, truly shine in this matchup. Hopefully that's the plan. To pair beautifully, as always, with my lovely Tyranitar, we are bringing a good friend of mine, Scruff McRuff. Scruff McRuff, the Stoutland, rocking the Life Orb with the Sand Rush. We put this bitch in the sand, we're going to outspeed this entire team. We are running 204 speed EVs with an Adamant Nature. 204 speed with 247. Brings us to 247. 247 times 2 equals 494. Divide that by 1.5. We outspeed base 100 that could be Scarfed. So, say there's a Scarfed Flygon. Boom, outspeed it. Beautiful stuff. And with that, we will then also outspeed anything that's not Scarfed. That's faster than that. So, you know, Focus Sash Alakazam. Boom, we outspeed it. Oh, we got that Meowstic. Boom, we outspeed it. Beautiful stuff. We have the Return, which is going to hit almost everything on my opponent's team neutrally, barring the Dusknoir, Heatran, and the Klefki. We have Crunch. Crunch for the Dusknoir, so we can hit that thing super effectively and do massive damage to it. We have the Superpower, so we can hit the Heatran super effectively. And we have the Fire Fang, so we can hit the Klefki super effectively. So basically, the only switch-ins to this thing, we can hit really, really hard for super effective damage. And that's some kind of good stuff. That's the good stuff right there. I mean, obviously, if the Klefki switches in, I'm not going to stay in, because I do not want to have Stoutland get paralyzed. It's literally the last thing I ever want to happen, because Stoutland getting paralyzed is literally like a death sentence to Stoutland, because Stoutland is now no more usefulness, and it's really sad. Because Stoutland will no longer outspeed things, and that makes me an unhappy camper. So we're not going to deal with that stuff, right guys? Right, yeah. So that is our beautiful, lovely Stoutland set that is going to tear through this team. Absolutely tear it apart. Yeah, baby. The next mon that I want to show off is someone who actually put in an insane amount of work while doing not very much this previous week, and honestly would have put in more work if given the opportunity. That is Imhotep, our Cofagrigus. We are rocking a fully specially defensive Colbur Berry set this week. And here's why. This thing can take hits from the Rotom, Heatran, Mega Gardevoir. We can take hits from the Alakazam. We can take hits from potential Special Flygon. We can take hits from Meowstic. We can take hits from Moltres all day long. We are rocking the Colbur Berry because this makes this thing a guaranteed switch in every single time to the Gallade. If Gallade wants to set up a Swords Dance even, we can switch in as it sets up a Swords Dance. It goes for a knockoff or something against us. We eat it like a champion, and we can immediately burn that thing and shut it down. As for the moveset, if I can get this to work, oh boy. We are rocking a Calm-Minding Cofagrigus this week. Shadow Ball, Will-O-Wisp, Calm Mind, and Hidden Power fighting. Will-O-Wisp, burn all the physical threats that want to come our way. Burn the Dusknoir, great. Burn the Avalugg, Great. Burn the Flygon? Great. Burn the Gallade? Perfect. Calm Mind will set up our special attack and special defense, make this thing an ultra special tank, and make it that much harder for my opponent to take down. Shadow Ball hits pretty much everything on my opponent's team neutrally or super effectively. Arke has an actually decently large ghost weakness, about 5 mons. Almost half the team is weak to ghost, so it's almost guaranteed to have ghost weakness on there. So we can hit things like the Gardevoir, the Gallade, Meowstic, Alakazam, Dusknoir, all super effectively and really, really do a lot of damage. Plus, since it's neutral on everything else, it'll do good damage to them as well. The only thing that is immune is the Smeargle. That is why I'm running the Hidden Power Fighting, so that this set is not walled by the Smeargle. We can run the HP Fighting. We can hit that thing really, really hard, super effectively. And it'll also hit the Avalugg super effective as well, which could be potentially useful. And it'll hit the Heatran super effectively as well, so that could also be useful. So it's definitely an option that I have that is in the back, stored in my brain, that we can use, and it's really, really hype. And if I can get a Calm Mind Cofagrigus sweep, I will be absolutely hype as shit. Now, if you notice, too, a lot of our team isn't too worried about speed, because the potential for Sticky Web on Smeargle is definitely there, so definitely scared about it. But, you know, it's definitely an option that I'm considering. So that's going to be our Imhotep. And if I really want to get a Calm Mind Cofagrigus sweep, I think that'd be dope as shit. But the last mon that we want to show off here, making its debut here in Fella, the mon that everyone kind of chuckles about that I drafted, Von Strangle, the Clefairy, Von Strangle, Jorgen Von Strangle. Rocking the Eviolite. Rocking the Eviolite with the Magic Guard ability. You're not going to Toxic Stall this bitch. It's not happening. We're running a fully physically defensive set. Max HP, max defense, bold nature. This thing with the Eviolite tanks hits for days. This is a great switch into the Gallade as well, as Gallade's moves outside of a Poison Jab cannot do very, very much to Von Strangle. And if it goes for close combat, we swallow that shit. If it goes for a Drain Punch, we swallow it even more. We're rocking a moveset of Stealth Rock, Moonblast, Heal Bell, and Soft Boiled. We get our rocks up, we can have a really, really nice matchup. It'll chip away the team and force the hazard removers to come in. Avalugg takes 25%, which would be really nice. Moonblast hits pretty much everything neutrally outside of the Heatran. I debated running HP Ground, but I was like, I don't really feel the need to do that. Just because I just don't feel the need for it. I have switch-ins to Heatran. I'm not really worried about the Heatran, so Clefairy is not my handle to Heatran. I don't need Clefairy to handle Heatran. Clefairy does its own thing. With the Heal Bell and the Soft Boiled. Heal Bell and Soft Boiled are there, so that I can Soft Boiled up my HP, keep Clefairy alive as long as possible, and keep statuses off my Pokemon. Heatran has a good chance to burn things with the Lava Plumes. Klefki likes to paralyze things. Meowstic likes to paralyze things. You know, Moltres might be getting burns. Rotom might be burning things. You know, a lot of mons on this team like to burn or paralyze things, so being able to have a mon who can remove all of those is really, really useful. Cool part is this thing outspeeds the Avalugg, so it can be really, really useful in that sense as well. But that's going to be the team. If you guys are excited, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And stick around for the battle, which should be coming within the next day or so. But until then, guys, I am PokePrimer, signing off.